Good morning and welcome all of you. Today's program is being organized by Mahatma Ayyankali Chair for Social Justice, School of Social Sciences, and it is titled as Stigmatized and Excluded, the Social Reality of Denotified Tribes by Mundayat Sasikumar, Joint Director, Anthropological Survey of India, Ministry of Culture, located in Calcutta. I welcome Dr. Sasikumar to School of Social Sciences and our university. Now I welcome all the faculties of School of Social Sciences and the students and the research scholars, also non-teaching staff. So about our honorable guest, Dr. Sasikumar. He obtained his master's and doctorate degrees in anthropology from the University of Calicut. He has been engaged in anthropological research for the past 30 years. He has conducted an extensive research work in the tribal areas of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Meghalaya, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He was a former director of Kirtach, Government of Kerala, and Mackayas, Government of India, Kolkata, and the officer in charge of the Andaman and Nicobar Regional Center of the Anthropological Survey of India for many years. Presently, he is the Joint Director of the Anthropological Survey of India. Recently, he authored 2 books, Matrilini Among the Cases, a study in retrospect and prospect, published in 2019, and Sentinel Islanders, the most isolated tribes in the world, 2023. Now I welcome Dr. Sasikumar to present the topic of stigmatized and excluded, the social reality of denotified tribes. Sir.
So a very good morning to all of you, and I thank my friend Professor Dinesh sir and Abhilash Babu for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. And some of you are familiar to me. I think you have visited Anthropological Survey of India, Kolkata, a few months back. So once again, I thank and welcome all of you. So I will talk today, rather I will interact with you. I will talk about a subject perhaps you may not be much aware of, the set of people who are living around us, the denotified communities or the denotified tribes. So who are they? I will start my this discussion with the obvious question. Who are they? Who are the denotified communities of India? They are all around us every day. Perhaps you might have come across with one or the other of them, but you may not have recognized them. Or perhaps they don't prefer to be recognized by you because of the social stigma attached with their very identity. Who are they? So they might be living in the makeshift huts made of rags under flyovers or on the lines of the railway lines or on the under construction national highways, or wherever some open space they get, they may construct some makeshift houses, huts there with rag clothes, or simply under the sky. But you may not have recognized them. You might have seen them in different fashion, in different forms. So once upon a time, the people with rich cultural heritage and very proud of their varied professions, different professions they have been followed, and they have been criminalized, impoverished. They were basically nomadic people, they were vagrants, but they have been made to settle, made them sedentary, and they have been marginalized, stigmatized, impoverished, and reduced to the status of destitutes by a very infamous colonial rule, the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. So then I will ask again the question, who are they? Perhaps in the newspaper, in the recent newspaper or in the television channels, this type of news you might have seen, Kurava Sangam or Kurava Sangathinu Pinnale Irani. So in the titles, in the headlines, these appeared in the recent past. So these are the terms sometimes the common people, even the media, even the police and the administrators generally followed to indicate them. Kurava Sangam, sometimes Irani gang or chor, the Hindi word chor. These are the locally, they have different terms. And perhaps they don't know what their name, their identity. They are not aware of their identity, because the identity is that many of the terms, many of the names we are calling them, it is our term, it is not their term. They are not knowing in that name. Perhaps as I say, suppose we will call the Sentinelist tribe, Jarawa tribe and all that, isn't it? But the Sentinelists, they don't know whether they are Sentinelists or the Jarawa doesn't know whether they are Jarawa, because we are calling them. The Sentinel Islanders, they are there. Their name has been given by a British surveyor in 1771 when he was surveying in the islands in Andaman Nicobar Islands. So they don't know what the existence of other people they may not be knowing, and we are calling them Sentinelists. And like these people, we are using different terms, terminologies, prefixing or suffixing, like gang, sunk, otherwise chore, different terms they are people are using to mention them. So you might have seen this girl, sometimes the Kumbh Mela famous Bhosle. So they are all belonging to different categories of denotified communities or the ex-criminal tribes. Then the obvious question is, who are they? I talked about the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. So what is the background of the British government adopting such a regulation, implementing such an enactment in India? So it is in the 19th century, and most of the communities included in the list of criminal tribes is the nomadic tribes, or they are vagabonds or the vagrants or itinerary communities. But of course, there are many other communities who are not nomadic, were also included because of some political reasons. So some of them, like the Sandals of Sandal Pargana, or the Orans of Orans and Mundas of Chota Nagpur, Sabos or Kons of Orissa, and the Bills of that Narmada Valley, and many tribes. They have been included, whether though they are not nomadic, because of their involvement in some of the tribal movements. Because you might be knowing, they are the first people, the tribes of the India are the first people they have, they were raising in arms against some curtailment of some of the rights and privileges they have traditionally enjoyed. Of course, after the enactment of the Permanent Settlement Act of 1793 by the Lord Cornwallis. So some of these communities which are not nomadic also have been included in the list of criminal tribes. So what was the reason behind implementing such a regulation in India? Yes, we all know that after the first war of Indian independence, that 1857 and all that, and the British Crown has taken over all the charges from British East India Company, and that was the time when these more scientific thinking were looming in the background because of the publication of the Darwin's Origin of Species and all that. So the British government appointed a committee, W. Hunter, to take stock of the entire situation in India and how to improve the administration in India after the Crown has taken over the charge. So their idea was to establish a more secure and more developed country. More secure not only for us, it is more secure for them, because during that period many interest groups were playing background. The evangelists, the empire builders, and the other policy makers, they were all different interest groups. They were all trying to play their role in the Indian context. So they wanted to make a more secure, a more developed country with more railway lines, more national highways, and developing more infrastructure and developing institutions like hospitals and all that. So in that respect, that context, you might be heard of the key dacoity rules that existed in the Indian context. Thuggy dacoity is a sort of ritual killing and looting and all that. So you will get some information on the net that the Thuggy dacoity regulations were there, department was there, and some enactments were also passed. So the Indian social situation was not that secure, and they thought of make an enactment to curtail the criminal tendencies of some of the communities of that period. So they wanted to control the Thuggy dacoity and the predatory communities they wanted to control. So that was the background. They were thinking to develop an act, and in that act, in that respect, so they associated, they find a nexus between nomadism and criminality. They find a nexus between them. Maybe in the background of the gypsies in the European countries on those days. So gypsies, you might be knowing that actually they have origin, they have an Indo-Aryan community believed to be originated in Punjab, then migrated to European countries and all that. So in that, during that period, the gypsies were considered, and they were nomadic, and they were considered as they are the social problem creators of that period because of all that background. And that was the time that Francis Galton's theory of Eugene, as that new gene or a good gene. In England and many of the countries that time, they were trying to, they thought that criminality is a transmittable trait, a genetic trait. So they, in the prisons, they were trying to sterilize the criminals in order to prevent the criminality, because they thought that it's a transmittable trait. So they were following such an act to that period of time. So in the Indian context, then they got a social context as well as a scientific context. So criminality is considered sometimes in the social and sometimes in the scientific context. And in India, we know that everything is, we are hereditary. So they thought that like a carpenter's son will become a carpenter, like a mason's son will become a mason, like that. Criminality is also considered to be a profession transmitted from generation to generation, and this has to be curtailed, and this has to be suppressed. So that is why in 1871 the Criminal Tribes Act has been passed. So one of the very infamous enactment passed in India, by the British, by which criminality was considered as the hereditary characteristics of millions of people belonging to specific categories. So you might have seen I asked the question, who are they? You can see some of these, you might have seen somewhere. First they were doing some blacksmithy, they are the, maybe you might have seen while passing, some traveling outside, then doing these, that nuts, if you have gone to Delhi, these people are doing, selling something. The other photo you can see, the sucking the blood, they are the traditional medicinal practitioners. Through the pipe they are sucking, they are cleaning the wounds and sucking the blood. They will clean your ear and all that. So these are the different, that is Sirinjiwala, this is, another one is Kurava, what we were talking about, the Kurava Sangam, they belongs to that, people belongs to that. I'm not in favor of that titles and all that, but I will come to that at a later stage, but they belongs to that Kurava community. Then you can see the people with bear, they are the Fakir community and all that. So different people following different profession, they are all different people. So then I told you about the Criminal Tribes Act. It was passed in the year 1871. When it was passed, it was not applicable to the entire India. It was only applicable to northwestern provinces, Punjab, and the administrative regions of the Chief Commissioner of Oudh. These are the three areas the act was implemented initially in the year 1871 when it was originally implemented. So after later on, this act was withdrawn, and then they are known as, now after that they were knowing in different names as criminal tribes or denotified tribes, or in Hindi Vimukta Jati. As these denotified communities were mainly nomadic communities, the category, the government of India made a category of denotified, nomadic and semi-nomadic communities under a single umbrella term for the different developmental, implementing different developmental schemes. So this act got, on 12th October 1871, the act got the assent of the Governor General, and on the 10th December, the act was passed. As I told earlier, in the northwestern province, Punjab and Oudh, these are the three areas the act originally implemented. So the section 2 of the act says who are a criminal tribe. A tribe, gang or class of people addicted to the systematic commission of non-bailable offences. That was the definition given to the criminal tribes in the Criminal Tribes Act. So in 1971 the act was implemented. Then after 5 years, in 1876, it has been extended to the Bengal region, and after 40 years in 1911 the act has got all India application. In the Madras region, Madras presidency, the act implemented from the year 1911 amendment. And again in 1924 also, that was the last time the act got amended. So with this, with the implementation of this act, with the notification of this act, the local government, any of the local government can declare a tribe or a group or a branch of that, or a sub-tribe as the criminal tribe. Once they are declared criminal tribes, they cannot move. Their movement has been curtailed. So basically they are a vagrant community, but once the community is brought under the umbrella of this act, this included in this act, then the movement has been curtailed, and they have to report their movements to the police station. Without reporting to the police station, they cannot move from one place to the other. Because you know that the professions were, they depended on different types of professions. So basically migratory profession, they are migratory. So they cannot move. Their livelihood options were curtailed. They cannot move from one place to the other. They have to be, if they find they are moving out, then they can be summarily arrested. And even their fingerprints has been taken and it has been kept. And if they are moving from, and every day they have to be reported to the police station several times, not only once or twice, several times in a day. As per the desire of the inspector there, they have to report to the police station, and they will be, if failed, they will be summarily arrested. So one of the important feature of this act was this criminal tribal settlement. There were in the country, there were different settlements were there, and these settlements were mainly under the control of the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army is a Christian missionary organization organized in the form of a military organization. It was established in London by William Booth and his wife, and they came into picture. And William Booth was, though it's a missionary organization, it worked as a multinational company of those days. So profit was the only agenda of the Salvation Army. So many of these settlements means it's a big area, maybe an agricultural settlement or an industrial settlement, or some other, some plantation settlement. So different types of settlements has been established in order to curb the criminality, in order to mend them, in order to train them. The criminality, they have to be, that criminal elements has to be removed. This is the whole idea. So these settlements, these agricultural settlements were under the barbed wires in a huge area. And there were different interest groups. One is the Salvation Army, and another is the local agriculturists, because they will get the very labor to extend their agricultural, because these people were easily available, because their livelihood options were curtailed. They cannot move. They cannot be any more nomadic. So cheap labor were available for the local agriculturists. So they are another interest group. And some industrialists were also interested groups, and these people were settled there. Some of them were settled in these agricultural and industrial settlements. You may know that this ITC of today, this Leaf Tobacco Development Company. So that is one of the company which have been utilized and employed using this the hard labor of these people. They have been developed. Now the Leaf Tobacco Development Company, that is today's ITC, as well as the Paris Sugar Company, and the Ubasi. Ubasi is the that is plantation organization of South India. So the different companies, different plantations, different agriculturists have come up and taken this cheaply available labor. And in the settlements, they have been subjected to the strict discipline and hard labor and free labor almost. And even within the settlements, they have to undergo strict disciplinary procedures, and they have to be report to the police authority there itself many times in a day. So these are the some of the settlements where these people have been rehabilitated. But many of them, they were knowingly or unknowingly, and with evading the eyes of the administration, they were following their traditional occupation. And there were many settlements this is some of the settlements, Sida Nagaram, Stuartpuram and all that. These are some of the settlements in the erstwhile Madras Presidency. And in Maharashtra itself, there were about 52 settlements for the denotified communities. So when India became independent in the August 15, 1947, the other people got independence. These people didn't get any freedom on August 15, 1947. They were in the prison. Prison means in the settlement. It is another jail, or it's a type of open jail. And inside these settlements, there are different type of grading is there. Those who are considered as the more, their criminality is more, they will be given, they will be put in some separate enclosures. And those who are not that showing that much criminal tendencies, they will have a different type of arrangements within the settlement. So once a inquiry committee, a provincial inquiry committee constituted in 1946, Professor A. Ayyapan, you might be knowing Professor A. Ayyapan, an anthropologist, he was one of the member of that provincial inquiry committee, and he has written about it in his report in 1948, published in 1948, the report of the socio-economic conditions of the aborigines of Madras Presidency. That it reminded some of these settlements, it reminded him of the Nazi concentration camp. That was his remarks about some of these settlements. So though the criminal, this listing and everything is there, the main problem with these communities is that they are mostly invisible. This is not the term used by me. This is the term used by the Dr. Idate. He was the chairman of the National Commission for Denotified Communities, established in 1915. So they find that these communities are mostly invisible. So the reason is obvious, because they do not prefer to be identified by others because of the social stigma attached with their name. So then the government wanted to implement some of the developmental programs. Then it was mostly they were invisible. They could not, though two national commissions were established, they could not make any progress in this respect because of these communities were mostly invisible. So in 1920, the Nidhi Ayog approached, Nidhi Ayog wanted to conduct an extensive study of these communities. So that's why the Nidhi Ayog approached Anthropological Survey of India, and 2 years, 21 to 23, Anthropological Survey of India have undertaken an extensive survey of these communities. It was one of the biggest study by Anthropological Survey of India. And of course, I was the principal investigator of this project, and all over India, around 500 researchers of our own researchers as well as the researchers recruited for this purpose. We have made an extensive survey for 2 years and studied about 375 communities spreading the length and breadth of India from Jammu Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, all over, and even Kanyakumari to Gujarat, and all these areas there were different communities, and we have made an extensive survey, and it was very difficult to identify these communities because they always camouflage their identity. They don't want to disclose their identity. So nobody, if the Korava, if you approach the Korava, they never agree that we are Korava, because you know that not only the stigma, but also because of the problems they face from the police authorities and others. So even if a small crime is happening, the first suspicion, the needle of suspicion will always go to them, so leads to them. So that's why they never wanted to disclose their identity. And there are, as we know that now, different types of processes are taking place. So many of them camouflage their original identity and they will adopt a different identity. Some of the communities will come together and adopt a Sanskritized name, and these 2-3 communities, they join together and they will hide their original identity, and they will take a Sanskritist identity so that the people will not identify them. So these are some of the process it is taking place. So I will come back to that. Then the Criminal Tribes Act in 1949, the Government of India appointed a committee, because as I told you that these people they were still in the settlements, in the open jail. So a committee has been appointed under the chairmanship of Anandasayanam Ayyankali MP, and the committee has given the reports in 1951, and based on this committee's recommendation, finally the act has been repealed in 1952, August 31. So they became independent only after 5 years after India became independent. That is on 31st August 1952, the act has been repealed finally. But the social stigma is still continuing. Then in 1952, the act has been repealed. Then the government has almost forgotten about them for about 5 decades. They were not in the vision of the government or the public. So in 2003, the first National Commission was appointed under the chairmanship of Balkrishna Renge. So in 2003, but the commission started functioning in 2005, and they submitted the report. So the problem is the same. They could not identify these communities, most of these communities, though they are there. They are very much there. So sometimes these communities are there under the nose of the administration, but they won't identify them who they are, because they will not disclose their identity. They are not getting any social security services of the Government of India, because they don't have anything. If you want to get an Aadhaar card for basic, nowadays the basic thing is Aadhaar card, isn't it? For everything, for any benefit, you require an identity card, an Aadhaar card. But for getting an Aadhaar card, you require some address proof, all that. So these communities, they form almost 10% of the Indian population. They are not getting all these benefits. So in 2003, first commission has been appointed, but the government could not make much about it. So then they made the second commission in 2015. They also submitted the report. They also faced the same type of problems, and that's why a nationwide study has been conducted. So in 1947, as per some documents, there were about 128 tribes, denotified tribes, but nowadays the 2 national commissions, they have identified them, almost 150 denotified tribes, and plus nomadic and semi-nomadic communities around 500. So they form together almost 10% of the Indian population, and so they are following different livelihoods options. So these some of them you might have seen one way or the other, but we never recognize them to which community they belongs to. So about these 150 communities, mostly they are varied professions they are following, but most of them are arm seekers. Arm seekers means it's a type of a better word for beggar. So they are begging, they have a different connotation, but I prefer to use the word arm seeking. The majority of them are arm seeking. So then there were acrobats and tightrope walkers, those who have visited Delhi and all that. On the roadside you can see a lot of people following these traditions, this type of practices. They are all, mostly they were the nuts, that is one of the denotified types. Then salt traders. Once upon a time, these Koravas, we are talking about the Koravas and the Yeruvilas and Koravas, they were salt traders. They were a very respectful profession. Salt trading means it's not only salt trading, so it's they will move from seasonally, from salt they collect from the seaside, then it's a cyclical movement. In that movement from seaside to the hilly areas. This movement involves a lot of transactions. Not only they will carry the cattle along with them, so that will carry the salt as well as they will exchange the cattle. And they will go to the different, they will collect different forest products in between, and they will exchange it with. And the agricultural families, they will make use of them because they will give, these cattle will give manure to their agricultural fields. So this a lot of exchanges are taking place between farmers, and they are collecting agricultural products, and they will exchange it. So this cycle and involves a lot of economic activities are taking place. Then this after when the act was originally implemented in 1871, the Madras Presidency was against implementing this because of that time this was one of the main source of income for the then British government. So they were again, that time it was against this. Then after that the railway lines has been developed. Then the more organized people have been entered into the field of salt trading and all that. So slowly they lost their traditional occupation, and this forest laws has been implemented. They cannot collect any more forest products from, and the chemical fertilizers started coming up, and they were not using this manure from the these people and all that. So a lot of changes are coming place, and this livelihood options has been curtailed for a long. And some other professions, you can, salt traders were, tattooing were there, arms seeking I told you. The arms seeking is in a different format, different fashions. I have shown you that this man is an arms seeker. He belongs to a community called Dasari, the Kombu Dasari. This is a branch of a tree. So this is some type of arms seeker. So different types of arms seeking they are following. This is some type of arms seeker. So this man is a Saguna Pachado. This very, you can see the dress pattern of these people. So they are following a different methodology of arms seeking, these communities. They are following a wide variety of professions they are following. So tattooing, fortune telling, monkey players. So they will play some of the tricks with the monkeys and all that, and the snake charming. I have shown that earlier picture that saperas, mostly the community is called saperas, and different communities, different methodologies, and nowadays become rag picking has become one of the major occupation of many of these communities. So different types of professions now follow, and they are following all over the country. So what is the problem? The main problems they are facing. So we have stereotypes and we have certain prejudices against these communities, and many of these communities, for example the Harni of Punjab. So the problem is the people will not give any work, any job for them because of the social stigma. They consider them as chore, or chore in the sense thief. They consider them as thief. They are the criminals. So they will not offer any provision for them, and they have no other option but to rely on some of them may rely on some of these thefts and or small thefts and some sort of occupation which the others consider as unclean and all that, illicit liquor, brewing, rag picking, and some unclean jobs. So, and the living conditions, mostly they are living on the outskirts of the village in a very, very unhygienic surroundings they are living. So that is because of all these, and because of this, the background that they are the criminals, criminal tendencies, people showing criminal tendencies, they are, we have a lot of stereotypes. The media have, the police have, the general public have. lot of stereotypes and prejudices against them. So in this process, they are facing a lot of problems. I told you that earlier the Irani gang, they are one of the, of course, if you search in the internet the Irani gang, you will get lot of stories of Irani gang. Once, one point in time during the period of Mughal Empire, they came from, as the name indicates, they came from Iran. So they are the Muslims from Iran, and they involved in the horse trade. They were mostly involved in the horse trade. Now, after that, once the empire, after the Mughal Empire, the horse trade has not much value. Then they involved in some petty trades. Now, mostly they will sell sunglasses and other things in different places. That girl, that Bosle, I have seen the picture. She belongs to a Pardi community. So they were all selling these different types of things. So they involve in different types of. Sometimes they involve in little thefts and all that. That is, it's very clear. Sometimes they involve. But because of this, we have a lot of prejudices that they will. One is that they are idle, because they are not idle. They are sometimes, as I told you, that we ask them, why don't you work? Some people ask them, why don't you work? Then the reply was that, work, we never work. We will only sing and dance. So that is the reaction. Once sometimes they ask to the nut people, why don't you work? So the work, as per the that is William Booth, one of the employee of the Salvation Army. They asked, why don't you work? But they say, we never work. They have not there is not a work for them, because they say that we never work. We only sing and dance. So it's their way of life, and they will, in that process, they will get their livelihood. So they are not idle. And this probable criminality, this is another problem. And another problem is, another issue, another prejudice is that the moral standards, they are very weak. So these are some of the prejudices we have, the society have against these communities. So they will not engage them in any of the work. That's why they have to rely on these works like arms seeking and some of these occupations which we consider as unclean. So in total, majority of them are leading a very miserable life, but they are not in the vision of within the vision of the administration, because of the identity issue. So nobody is recognizing. They are very much there, but they are not visible. That is the biggest challenge the community now the face today. So social stigma, then of course we have because of a lot of prejudices. Then identity issues. They don't have an identity of their own. Though they have the identity, they are all hiding. They are camouflaging their identity because of the social stigma. And development concerns. So they are mostly living in the outskirts. Sometimes some of the community like Madari, they are always on the wheel. They will move in the bullock cart, and wherever they see some open space, they will settle there, and they loop the electricity from the line, and they will live there for a few days or few weeks, then they will move. So they don't have a permanent settlement. They are keep moving. And they are also subjected to the social discrimination, and nobody will take care of them. So if they are settling somewhere, they will be in the outskirts of the villages without much contact with the mainstream people. And they were subjected to a lot of atrocities. As I told, the police people, once somebody was asking the police commissioner of some districts in Maharashtra. So they are saying the reply of the police commissioner was there. So the criminal tendencies, as the number of cases against one person, it is the prospects for him is better. If he has more cases, the prospects for getting a better alliance, they will get a better alliance, better prospects. He has the better prospects. So that is the type of prejudices these even the administrations are following. So a lot of human rights violation. This is another issue than marginalization, and they also have been alienated from their livelihood sources. So different problems, they are facing different sorts of problems, these people who makes, and though they are said as denotified tribes, many of them, a majority of them have not been included in any of the list of the constitutional category, either SC, ST or OBC. So that's why they are not getting any constitutional benefits as well. So though there were untouchability and all discriminations are there, and some of them are originally tribes, they are not getting any constitutional benefits because they are not in any of these lists. So that is the another problem faced by these communities. And the subsequent, many of the enactments, because of the enactments, they are facing the traditional livelihood options has been curtailed. So Wildlife Protection Act, some of the communities like Masset, they were using the snakes and mongooses play. They will come into the street and use the snake and mongooses play, and there's some tricks they play, and they get the attention of the crowd, and they get some gifts in terms of money. But because of the wildlife protection, they cannot use the snake, they cannot use the monkey, they cannot use the bear, because these are all against the existing Wildlife Protection Act. And they cannot beg because of the existence of Anti-Beggary Act. And now they are all these communities are under the purview of the Habitual Offenders Act. When the originally this 1952, when the act was repealed, it was replaced by the Habitual Offenders Act. So these are the some of the areas, some of the legislations that also affect the life of all these communities. So now the government of India have taken up some measures, and after our study of these around 375 communities, government of India is going to implement some schemes for them, but it is still in the pipeline, and Nidhi Aayog is seriously thinking about these about these denotified communities and the programs and projects which has to be implemented separately for the denotified communities. So of course they think that they deserve a better treatment from the public and from the government. So I will stop here, and we can have a discussion if you have anything, isn't it? Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sasikumar. It's a wonderful presentation. We all enjoyed it actually. And we were talking about 10% of Indian population who are made visible through different policies of the colonial as well as the post-colonial governments. And it's really, really surprising. And being historians as well as anthropologists, they must be having more questions, I'm sure. So it's actually something serious. We should look into actually. Three things which I noticed is that one thing while discussing on the first part, like colonialism and how colonialism considered them as criminals and things like that, and how the state as well as the colonial missionaries intervened to discipline them. That's actually, they were Salvation Army was used as an agency to discipline these moving tribes. And I think there are studies regarding how these people were made criminals through colonial administrative policies and all. So how colonial power has been utilized to discipline these people and things like that. And they were disciplined because of their continuous movement and their continuous habit of resisting all the government as well as in colonial policies, colonial government. The colonial government doesn't want any kind of resistance, so they classified them as thugs, they classified them as criminals and marginalized and things like that. There are some studies regarding that. But when you said that it is much more empirically rich and really wonderful. And I would like to know much more about how the Salvation Army and colonial government intervened to make them disciplined. And student must know that while the colonial government, which Dr. Sasikumar has subtly pointed out, all state policies, all state institutions are not actually making them independent, making them free in a sense. Rather, even the colonial institutions as well as the post-colonial institution, which you said by saying the continuity of their condition by the enactment of the Act called Habitual Offenders Act. Once it was Criminal Act and now it is Habitual Offenders Act. Actually, even though there was some changes, but in a sense, in their life, in their effect, in everyday life effect, they were continuing a kind of criminal or stigmatized people. So one thing which Sasikumar noticed and clearly pointed out, which I don't know whether you have noticed is that state policies, all state policies as well as all state government institutions are not actually making them liberative. They not making them independent. Rather, even inside the policies, even the policies encompasses the procedure for disciplining them as well as making them stigmatized. So that is an interesting point which came out through your program. I really like that point. And another thing which I would like to know more about is, do we have, in Kerala, do we have similar communities? We know that there are migrants coming up and settling in certain places in certain seasons and doing these kinds of activities. Some may make some blacksmiths kind of activities. Some will come and settle in certain places, and I could see them growing flowers, different kinds of flowers, and hunting for cats and eating them, cats and rats and eating them. These kinds of people, I know these people are migrating into Kerala, different parts of Kerala as well. Do Kerala, any of the tribals of Kerala, tribal people of Kerala got converted into this kind of categories? Whether any kind of state interventions made the tribals of Kerala into these kind of criminal tribes or things like that. We know that there are PVTGs in Kerala, but none of them are considered as criminal tribes. So I would like to know how this particular kind of colonial and post-colonial practices affected the life of tribals of Kerala. Simply to open the discussion, I think students will be having more questions. Once again, thanks very much.
In Kerala, there is only one community that is called Domben. Among these denotified communities, only one, Domben. But as per the Kirtars, they are telling the people who are claiming as Domben in Palghat, they are in Palghat, they are not actually Domben, is a different community claiming as Domben. That is but as per the list, there is only one community, that is in Palghat region. But in Kerala, there is, though they will migrate to our region, of course they migrate and they will go back after some time. So, but in the list of Kerala, there is, except Domben, there is no other community.
I have a question which is slightly different from the topic. Though in your book you say that the curiosity doesn't justify the intrusion towards the sentinel tribes, I would like to know what are your methodologies and how you made contact with the tribes when you wrote that book.
Oh, sentinelist, yeah. No, actually, it's based on I'll tell you that historical documents as well as the present, what were my observation and all that. So, during the colonial period, there are two occasions that people have landed there. That is the British administrator, M.V. Portman. He landed there a few times, only twice he could meet them. And he brought a few of them to Port Blair from Sentinel Island. So, and they died after some time. After that, there is no contact. No British administrator have gone there and contacted them. Then after India became independent, in 67, once people landed there and entered inside, but they could not see any sentinels there because they all withdrawn. They could see, they could collect a lot of physical artifacts from there, and they brought and kept in the museum and all that. They could understand the house types and those things. That's all recorded. But after that, Government of India has taken a policy not to intervene with them. But what we are doing is, we will make circumnavigation around the island in some intervals. We used to make circumnavigation down the island, and ship will go, then we will get into the fiber boats and we'll make navigation. Earlier they used to provide coconuts and all that. Then they will come to the, because to attract them to the shore and get contact to make an observation. So there is the rule is that we should not land there, but we can observe from a distance. Based on that observation from a distance, it has been written. That many times we have made this, and no direct contact, except this M.V. Portman, and in 1967 two times. There was up to 1995, the circumnavigation was very regular and collected a lot of information. After 95, it has become occasional. So still the administrative people from ANSI people will go there and observe them from a distance. Based on that, it has been written.
I have a continuation question as well. Like, from my limited knowledge, I came to know that there were a lot of perspective regarding the contact towards the sentinels, regarding isolation, assimilation, such as, and you have in your book is written about the hands-off approach. So I would like to know how did you arrive at that approach, and can you elaborate on it?
It's not eyes on, hands off. So eyes are always on. It is there, all the administrative machinery as well as the researchers are there, but they are not interfering with them. So the idea is to see, now you can see the plight of the other tribes, Onge and Greater Damanis, what happened to them in the history. They are almost on the verge of extinction because of the contact and all that. So let them come out by their own. That is the idea, not to interfere. If you land there, if you give them disease, some sort of diseases, then they may become extinct in the near future. So that's what happening to Onge and Greater Damanis tribe. But at the same time, the Jarawa tribe is flourishing, the Shomben is flourishing because of the restricted or no intervention. But they are now in contact. Jarawa and the Shomben are in contact, but very restricted, but they are prospering. Unlike the other two tribes, Greater Damanis and Onge. have some interaction, you can talk, whatever.
When talking about the denotified tribes, we use the terms like how to discipline them, or even just before we had said like they should come out or they should not be disturbed. So actually there are, we have even talked about the acts like criminal prevention acts. So what is the vision of the constitution or the laws, or generally the perception, should they need to come out or they should be preserved? Because when they are coming out, they are getting extinct, but it is needed to have them to be included in the mainstream society. So when they are considered excluded, what is the better way to sustain them?
I think there is a little confusion. What here that she was asking about the sentinelists, so deviating from the topic we are discussing. So that is a different topic, isn't it? Sentinelists, she asked, and the DNT is different. It's entirely two different categories. So DNT, of course, there is no question of isolation, no, and all that. But the problem is the identity itself is a problem. The identity, because of the social stigma, the community is, we cannot identify who they are. You understand? They are a part and parcel of our society, existing society, but the question is to identify them, and many of them are hiding their original identity because you know that the social stigma and all that. So, and the developmental initiatives of the government is not reaching to them, and because there is no specific programs for them, and they are frequently on the move. Government also cannot take a first we have to make them sedentary. Okay, because today they will be here, they may be migrate even cross the state also. Today they may be in Tamil Nadu, tomorrow they may come to Kerala and all that. They are most of them are constantly on the move. So that is a big issue. Plus they don't have many of these, they are not at a permanent place. So then if you want to give the education to the children, how it is possible? There are a lot of practical problems. And plus there is no specific program for the denotified communities. Suppose if they are in SC or ST or OBC, they may have some programs, and many of them are not in any of these categories. So that is why we have given the government some, for example, if you see in go to the Jammu and Kashmir, there is a Gujars and others are there. They are scheduled tribe and status and all that we are getting. But there is another community called Chopan. They are also 8 months they were with their sheep. They will be in the higher Himalayas. So with the family, they are not getting any benefit. But the other communities, Bakarwad and all that, as they are in the scheduled tribe community, they can keep their children in the hostel, because scheduled tribe department is they are scheduled tribe. They can keep in the hostel, and the children are getting education and all that. But the Chopan, they are not in any list. They cannot keep them. They are, because of the limited economic conditions, they cannot keep the children in the hostel. They are taking them with them. So because this is an issue, the government, they are not in the vision of the government. So how to specific program, community wise programs has to be evolved. For that there are a lot of other connected issues are there. So we have to solve the issue very holistically. For that this effort is for that only. First to identify them, which are the people who are originally belongs to that such and such group. So whenever you are giving some benefits, some people will try to intrude into it, and some other people will come and take the benefit. It will not go to the intended people. That is always an issue. So the programs has to be evolved to suit each and every in the at a specific community level. Otherwise, it's a big problem because as it will not as in the Keynesian economics, it will trickle down to the bottom. It will take long time years.
Towards the end, you said that as per the direction or request of Niti Ayoga, Anthropological Survey of India had conducted a study on these denotified tribes, and now the government is in the process of including them in SC, ST and OBC category, right? So what's the criteria for that? Once they were considered as a tribe, I don't know, some kind of tribe, then denotified tribe. Now they are getting entry into or getting enrolled into three kinds of categories: SC, ST and OBC. What's the rationale for classifying them into three categories? So what was the suggestion of Anthropological Survey of India in including them in three categories? This is my curiosity.
Yeah, this is actually an issue. Actually, the government is thinking how to solve this issue because the development of denotified communities is an issue. So they have got some advices, some suggestions, maybe from different policy level to include them in some specific categories, so they will be getting some, at least some constitutional benefits, because most of them are not included. So they asked us to just see whether, as per the ethnographic information we have collected, whether we can whether they are eligible for inclusion of in any of these categories. For the SC, ST, OBC, there are three different criteria have been adopted. So SC there is one, ST, OBC and this. So at least they will get some benefits. That was the idea of Niti Aayog, because that was the advice they got. So but for that there is a study is required. So based on the anthropological information we have collected, we have recommended them based on the existing criteria of inclusion. Some of these communities are eligible because in the process, because they are not they don't have a bargaining power like other communities, and we can see that different communities who are organized communities are fighting for their ST status, SC status, OBC status and all that, but their sounds are unheard. And this, as we know that these different terminologies, it's all politically incorrect, calling an entire community as criminals or thieves, because this Korava Sangam, it's a connotation that they are the criminals or some and all that, isn't it? So suppose if it is any other community, in every community there are people with the criminal tendencies, because but whether we can say a community in that, call a community in that name, because it's politically incorrect. Even in the cinema we cannot use the term. Immediately they will come out. So here an act which has been passed in the colonial era in 1871, and it has been repealed some 75 years back. Based on that, we had the newspaper walas and all that, we are calling them as criminals openly. Even in the assembly, one MLA was calling the other group as you are Korava Sangam. With the connotation is that you are criminals. So whether we the background, so you understand the political incorrectness in calling, referring some calling some people, so it's very incorrect. So that is they don't have the bargaining power, so they are not bothered about. And when in some community we have gone to study them, they one I have in Punjab I have visited. There, my people were telling they were not allowing them to enter that area. They were shouting at them, and they were chasing them out. We don't want any people here. We are living. We are perfect. So then I myself have gone. They came from all around, all the side, especially the ladies. They were chasing us. They were shouting us, go. But somehow, I don't know, I stand there without going back. And finally they got little bit tamed. So they don't have this bargaining power and all that, and they are not bothered about all these things. That is why we have the courage to call them as thieves and criminals. Otherwise, it's not possible. So all these newspaper people or the people will be sued. So this is the thing. So the government is in the idea that at least something has to be reached them, and but it is not going to happen immediately, because if they include these communities, then the pressure from other dominant groups within the CST OBC will be objecting it. So that's why the Niti Aayog is, they know that it's a hot issue, but they are thinking, I don't know what ultimately will happen. This inclusion, there are certain criteria. Okay, but okay, all these criteria are very old and all that. Some scheduled tribe, the Logur Committee in 1964, there is 4 or 5 criteria. It is isolation and all sorts of things. Okay, then from scheduled caste, it is untouchability and all that. And OBC, some mostly economic criteria and general backwardness and all that. So each community, we have to see whether to which group they have these most suiting criteria. Some are eligible for SC, some are for OBC, like that, based on the ethnographic information.
Yeah, again, so you should ask. Malayalam സംസാരിക്കാം, ശിവകുമാറിന് മലയാളം അറിയാം, ഒരു ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടില്ല മലയാളത്തിൽ ചോദിക്കാം. ചെറിയ ഒന്ന് രണ്ട് കുഞ്ഞു കുഞ്ഞു കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട്. So one is regarding you said that during the colonial period, especially with the intervention of Salvation Army, new kinds of development procedures were introduced, like incorporating these tribes into incorporating tribals as plantation laborers, as workers in some minor industries and something like that. So was that successful, and what was the effect of such things, and why that kind of development programs were not continued? Even then, even if that such programs were continued, why these people did not continue as laborers or agricultural laborers or industrial laborers, and remained as the vagabonds or the gypsies? This is one kind of question I would like to. Second is again the last thing which you said, like we know that there are certain categories, and according to the already fixed category, we consider some as SC, some as ST, some as OBCs. But interesting thing is that this is only to, you don't have to answer, I don't know, madam. This is my just thought when you said this answer. So there are people, and they were once called tribes, and they were made criminals, then they were denotified. Actually, when the new initiative came and categorized them as SC, ST and OBC, what I felt is that, I may be wrong, but what I felt is that state can create castes. a state can create certain so this is a different way in which caste has been understood right now. Caste is, we know that there are different kinds of explanation for the emergence of caste and all. There are certain other interpretations on caste, that this is how this hierarchy has been created. But beyond all this, state is coming up and making caste. So this is an interesting thing. I don't know whether I am right. But I feel that this is what is happening when Niti Aayog suggested you to do a certain surveys, and when you did the survey and categorize certain people into certain categories, you are making them into new castes. So whether I am right, I don't know, but I suspect there is some aspect of that. We don't know what will be the effect of such state created castes would make or would have in the longer run. This is my just.
I will reply to your first question. Yes, of course, there are many communities, they have been settled because the number of communities are more, and some of them have been, the British period itself have taken to these Bathos, have been taken to Andaman. We can see in Andaman the colonies of Bathos, and the people from Chota Nagpur area, they are called Ranjis, because these are all mixture of some of these denotified communities. They have been taken to Andaman during colonial period for the different works and all that. They are there, they are well off compared to their counterpart in the mainland India. And some of them have been taken to Sri Lanka also, some of them have been taken to Northeast India. They are all there. Now they are mostly in plantations. They are all away from all these things. But those who are remaining, they are not become part of these settlements. They are following this type of traditional occupation, because they don't have any other source of their livelihood. So they are there. So those who have settled, they have become part of it. Of course, a good section of them have been mainstreamized already. So they are there in Andaman, they are in Sri Lanka, they are there in Northeast India, and in other parts of the country also. But majority still remains. And the second question, no, it is not state. State is considering, because they are a community. It is though the title of the act is Criminal Tribes Act, nowadays we are not calling them criminal tribes. It is not denotified tribes. We are calling them denotified communities, because they are not, all are not tribes. The communities included in the list are, many of them don't have the characteristics of a tribe as per the existing criteria. They don't have existing anthropological definitions. But they are communities as such. Here the only thing is that they are there, we are including in the category, constitutional category. It is only a constitutional category. We are not creating any caste. We are giving in the SC or OBC the list. It is not, we are not creating a new caste, a new tribe. They are already there. They are the communities. They are the community, full-fledged communities. They have the organization of all the anthropological characteristics of a caste or community they have. And we are not creating anything new. But we are putting them in some hierarchy category. That's all.
Sir, ഒരു ആധുനിക ജനാധിപത്യ ക്രമത്തിൽ ഏതു തരത്തിലുള്ള ക്രൈം, അത് പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഒരാൾ ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതല്ല, ഏതു തരത്തിലുള്ള ക്രൈം ആണെങ്കിലും ക്രൈമായിട്ടാണല്ലോ പൊതുവെ പരിഗണിക്കപ്പെടുന്നത്. അപ്പം മുൻവിധികളെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇത്തരം സംഗതികളെ മാറ്റി നിർത്തി പരിഗണിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇത്തരം ഗ്രൂപ്പുകൾ എങ്ങനെ അഡ്രസ് ചെയ്യും? ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് ജയമോഹന്റെ 100 സിംഹാസനത്തിൽ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, അയാൾ എന്ത് തന്നെ കുറ്റം ചെയ്താലും അയാൾ നിരപരാധിയാണ്. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു പൊസിഷൻ നമുക്ക് സാങ്കല്പികമായിട്ട് അവർ വഹിക്കുന്ന സബാൾട്ടേൺ ആയിട്ടുള്ള പദവിയെ മുൻനിർത്തിയിടുക, ഒരു ലീഗൽ സംവിധാനത്തെ മുൻനിർത്തി, ഒരു ജനാധിപത്യ ക്രമത്തെ മുൻനിർത്തി അങ്ങനെ പൊസിഷൻ നമുക്ക് എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ലെന്നാണ് ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പം ഇങ്ങനെ വ്യക്തിപരമായിട്ടുള്ള ധാർമ്മികതയും സമൂഹത്തിന്റെ ധാർമ്മികതയും നിയമത്തിന്റെ ടെക്നിക്കാലിറ്റിയും തമ്മിലൊരു കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റിൽ ഏർപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പം ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ ഒരു പൊസിഷൻ ഇത്തരം വിഷയങ്ങൾ എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റും എന്നുള്ളതാണ്.
അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്. അവരുടെ ഈ ഒരു പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ കറക്റ്റ്നെസ്സിൻ്റെ ഇഷ്യൂ ഉണ്ട്. ഇതൊക്കെ തന്നെ ഒരു നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞതൊരു മോഡേൺ ഡെമോക്രാറ്റിക് സെറ്റപ്പിൽ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ലാത്തത് പറയാൻ പാടില്ലാത്തതുമാണ്. അതൊക്കെ കറക്റ്റായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളല്ല. പക്ഷെ അത് നടക്കുന്നു. അത് നടക്കാനുള്ള കാരണം എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അതിൻ്റെ വാട്ട് ഈസ് എ ബേസിസ്. നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ ആ ഒരു 75 വർഷം മുൻപ് റിപ്പീൽ ചെയ്ത ഒരു ആക്ടിൻ്റെ ബലത്തിലായിരിക്കണം ഈ മീഡിയാസും എല്ലാവരും അത് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഓൾ ദിസ് പ്രെജുഡിസസ് ഇപ്പോഴും കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് പിന്നെ അവരുടെ ഓർഗനൈസ്ഡ്, ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ ആരെങ്കിലും ഒരു സിനിമയിൽ തന്നെ ഒരു വാക്ക് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഉടനെ അതിനുള്ള ഇത് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ ദേ ആർ നോട്ട് ഓർഗനൈസ്ഡ്, ദേ ആർ നോട്ട്. ഇങ്ങനെ ആരെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ വിളിക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ള കാര്യം അവർ അറിയുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെ വേറൊരു ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ അത് നമ്മൾ സ്വയം തിരുത്തേണ്ടതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്തരം കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഒരു ഇങ്ങനെ അങ്ങനെ അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്നതും അങ്ങനെ അവർ ആ രീതിയിൽ കണക്കാക്കുന്നതും ഓരോരുത്തരും ഒരു സൊസൈറ്റി എന്ന രീതിയിൽ ഒരു ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ എന്ന രീതിയിൽ അത് നിരുത്സാഹപ്പെടുത്തേണ്ടതാണ്. it will be correcting, but it will take time because it is സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ അത് ഇൻഗ്രെയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ in Kerala situation it will be a different, but in the Northeast Indian situation, if you go to any village and all that, based on my experience, but they are not that, the society is not that aware of all these things, so it is strongly ingrained in the culture. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരാളെ, ഇപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ this Harni community, openly they will call, since they follow the Muslim regime, Musalman chor sometimes they use, because so many of them have been migrated to Pakistan because of all these issues and all that, and some of them are still continuing there, and many of them are hiding their identity. Now they are claiming themselves as Gujjar. We are no longer Harni, we are Gujjar, or we are Fakir, or we are Madari. They adopted a different names. They wanted to hide it because it's all ingrained in their culture, and it will take time to എന്താ പറയുക, ഇതൊന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ ആ രീതിയിലേക്ക് നമ്മളൊരു ഒരു യൂസേജ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ഒരു കറക്റ്റ്നെസ്. നമ്മൾ ഓരോരുത്തർക്കും നമ്മളങ്ങനെ വിളിക്കരുത് ചെയ്യരുതെന്ന് ഓരോരുത്തർക്കും തോന്നേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യമുണ്ടല്ലോ. ദാറ്റ് വിൽ ടേക്ക് ടൈം. I think I experienced it. My experience in Kerala and my experience in other states is entirely different. That's what I'm telling. The society is considering them as such.
So you talked about the fragile government policies in mainstreaming this denotified tribes. I would like to know about the civil society interventions, if any, in the mainstreaming this denotified tribes. Any civil society intervention in slamming this prejudice over this tagline, or bringing education opportunities? Is there any civil society intervention rather than not government?
It's very, very rare. We could not see many of these. Few NGOs are working, but it's all their interventions are very, very minimal. I didn't see anywhere. Now this some of the NGOs in their specific areas they are working, but it's not that I could not see any very successful civil society intervention in whichever the community we have studied. I couldn't see, because they are not in that way also, and they are not politically organized as well, and not much.
ചോദ്യങ്ങളുണ്ടോ? ചോദ്യങ്ങളില്ല. ഇതുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ടല്ലെങ്കിലും ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിയുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടുള്ള ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാലും സാറ് മറുപടി പറയും. അതുകൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഒരു 5 മിനിറ്റ് കൂടി വേണമെങ്കിൽ തരാം. അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ വി ക്യാൻ മൂവ് ടു ദി concluding session, which is formally expressing our vote of thanks. So do you want to ask any question?
It could be better if sir can share his fieldwork past experience. So it would be better if he can explain it a bit of your field experience. You have experience from different parts of India and the Andaman Nicobar Islands. That would be interesting for us. Sir, you can sit there.
Yes, of course. Being in Anthropological Survey of India, it's good that you will get an all India perspective and all that. So I started my career actually in northeastern part of India, where I have worked among the Khasis of Meghalaya. So and then Andaman, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and as part of this DNT studies I have all over the country. I have conducted field work in the sense to supervise the work which we are doing. So, and I think some of you may be taken anthropology, and and few of you, and those who have like to have a profession in anthropology, you can Anthropological Survey of India is a good option. The thing is that you will get a better opportunity to see the things from an all India perspective. So as I told, I started my career in Shillong, and I worked extensively on the Kasi. Kasi, as you know, it's a matrilineal community. Only in the extreme south, of course, the Nair in the extreme south, and how long the matrilineal is followed by Nairs here, it's all gone. And another is in Tamil Nadu, and there is a community called Arumbukutam Vellala, there is a community, and then in the northeast this Kasi, Karo and Jaintia, and they are in the Tamil Nadu. These are the 3 pockets where matrilineal still survive, and Kasi, Karos and Jaintias is very still today, they are very strong matrilineal communities. So this is the area where I initially worked, and of course I worked in I have worked in Arunachal Pradesh and all that, and different communities. You might be knowing about the Sulung community. Still Sulung means slave. They are a slave tribe to another tribe, Nishi tribe and all that. Then I worked in Andaman. Of course, it was a great experience to work in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. That was, as an anthropologist, that is perhaps the best time I enjoyed to work in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the tribal situations there, and I could work among all these 5 PVTGs, that is Sentinelese, Shompen, Jarawa, Great Andamanis and Onge, and this Nicobarese. And there are some other communities there. Now presently I am doing my work on the Mapila, you know, the 1921 Malabar rebellion, and from Malabar, lot of Mapilas were deported in Andaman. Now it is 100 years has completed. Now I am working on this. Though I am posted in Kolkata, I used to go to there, and I am doing my work among the Mapilas, those who have been deported there, and what happened to them after deporting to them, the historical antecedents and the present situation, working on them. And as well as that is my individual project, in the sense I alone is involved in it, but at the same time we will take different projects, the office for different this report, Nidhi Ayog, these denotified communities, that we have to Ourselves, we have to coordinate all over the country. So being the senior officer, we have to coordinate the entire thing. So we will have two different opportunities. One is to coordinate the bigger research of survey has taken, and if we have some special interest, we can have a separate research on side by side. That is the good opportunity we used to get. And then of course Kerala, I being the director of Kitards, I could do some work, and among the Kanikar and all that. That was my PhD and all that. So before that, I also worked in the one institution called International School of Dravidian Linguistics. You might have seen the 3 volumes of Encyclopedia of Dravidian Tribes. I was the associate editor of that. So in that way, I am lucky that I got the opportunity to work all over the country, and especially in Andaman and Northeast India, and plus other regions, Himalayan region, of course, that is another area where I could do some field work. I worked among this community like Chopan and all that. I did some extensive field work, 2-3 months field work there. So in that way, if somebody who is interested to have a profession in anthropology, NSI is an option. Of course, you have to, the entry is from a research assistant through staff selection commission. You have to, entry is through staff selection commission, and another is class 1 level, and that is anthropologist, that is through UPSC. And we offer around 45 fellowships. After your PG, you can apply for fellowships, that you can work in different projects. Then that will be an experience. Then you can try for your regular post as RA or anthropologist. And so I entered in survey as an anthropologist. It's a class 1 post, class 1 gazetted post. Then of course the promotional channels are there, up to joint director, not beyond that. But and I, as deputy director also, I selected through UPSC only, because that there is another stage there, another entry point. Now that has been stopped. Now only 2 entry point. One is research associate, that is through staff selection commission. Another is anthropologist, that is through UPSC. So those who have opted for anthropology, 1 or 2 people from this department is working in survey as research associate. Now they became assistant anthropologists. So there are options, around 400 posts, but it will not all come together. When somebody is retiring, the new post will come. Otherwise, it's all. Of course, last year around 150 posts have been created by Government of India. So that's why a lot of last 2-3 years, a lot of recruitments and a lot of people have been selected. It was a great thing. So if anything more you want to know about survey and all that, you can, and you can publish, and we have a journal of the Anthropological Survey of India. I was the editor last 3 years. Now it has been taken by Professor B.V. Sharma. He is now the director and chief editor of that. So So that is, that normal anthropological methodologies. Otherwise, I don't think anything different is there. So that will be studying and all that. Field work, anthropological field work, we know that. But according to the situation, the sentinel is, of course, we cannot do any field work. We are an observation from a distance. Otherwise, all the tribes, you can go and do field work, except sentinelis. Not only in Andaman, I am talking all over India. You can go and whatever the methodologies, the observation, no participant observation is following nowadays, but observation plus interview and all other techniques, and you can adopt. There is no problem.
on Kottayam, and he is facing some challenges in his field work.
What is
And
that?
some, one of the objectives is some what was that?
Maternal health care.
Maternal health issue, that related question, and they are reluctant to answer, respond this type of question. So how do we can bypass and get some information?
But that, no, that you have to create a rapport. One single day you go and ask questions, nobody will answer. So you have to establish rapport. It will take time, and you have to become what's called a familiar person. I also faced the same problem. I worked in the Kottayam in that Tamil Nadu area, not Wayanad. It's a tri-junction. That what is that? Nilgiri district that is adjacent to Kerala only. There I worked. So that time, whenever we go there, they will just enter the huts and close the door. They will not entertain you. So it will take slowly. Once you become familiar, this man will not go unless we answer. That type of feeling should be there. Otherwise, they will not. This is a problem everywhere. When I worked among the Todas, the language we cannot understand, nothing. So it's a very difficult problem. You have to be there for a longer time. So establish a rapport with at least one or two persons. Then through them you can ask. Then it will be get. So whenever we go to Todas, if we go with a person, a headman was there, Potali Kuttan. So if we go with them, they will whatever questions you have, they will answer. But if we are going alone, because that time we have to give him some every day some 500 rupees as his fees, then only he will come. If we are going with him, everything is fine. Sometimes we will start, in order to avoid this 500 rupees, we started going ourselves. No, they will not entertain you. So rapport creation is, that is the basic of anthropological inquiry. This Madari community, I was telling to sir that they chased us out, but they were okay, they were getting avoid them, they were also running away. But when I went, then I thought, because if I also go like that, it will be for me it's a ego issue. Then I thought whatever happen, I will be there. So especially the women, they were shouting us. We don't know what, not Hindi, their own language. They are shouting us, and I just stand there. Then they become slowly. They were started talking. Then slowly they have given almost all the information, because they are telling people are coming to exploit us only. They are coming here to exploit us. Our women are exploited, or we are exploited in different ways. So that's why that type of a. So you will be asking about the maternity health and all that. It's slightly you are a boy and asking about some certain issues. There will be a limitation. If you have somebody you can take with you at least for some time, some girls or some if you have a sister or if you have a classmate, if you take them with them, then they will feel a little bit more relaxed to answer to your question. If somebody is coming to your home and asking certain questions, you also will be suspicious, yeah? And so same way they are more suspicious. So that you have to handle.
സർ, ഈ സോഷ്യൽ എക്സ്ക്ലൂഷനെ നമുക്ക് അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഈ ഒരു എക്സ്ക്ലൂഷൻ്റെ ഫ്രെയിംവർക്ക് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ, അതോ ഇപ്പം ജെയിംസ് കോട്ടിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ വെപ്പൺസ് ഓഫ് ദ വീക്ക് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു മോഡൽസ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരു ഡെവലപ്പ്. ഓക്കെ.
1984 വടക്കേ മലബാറിലെ 2 ഗ്രാമത്തിൽ നിന്ന് 2 പേര് ഒരു കോളേജിൽ പഠിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നു. പയ്യന്നൂർ കോളേജ് എന്നാണ് ആ കോളേജിൻ്റെ പേര്. 2 പേരും അവിടെ പഠിക്കുന്നു. ഒരു 4-5 വർഷം പ്രീ ഡിഗ്രി അന്ന് പ്രീ ഡിഗ്രി ആയിരുന്നു. നിങ്ങൾ 10ാം ക്ലാസ്സും കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് സ്കൂളിൽ തന്നെ പഠിക്കുന്ന ഏർപ്പാടില്ല. അതിനൊന്നും 12 ക്ലാസ് ഇല്ല. 10ാം ക്ലാസ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് സ്കൂളിൽ നിന്ന് ചവിട്ടി പുറത്താക്കും. പിന്നെ കോളേജിൽ പോകണം. അവിടെ നിന്ന് ചേട്ടന്മാരുടെ അടിയൊക്കെ വാങ്ങിക്കണം. അങ്ങനെ 84 മുതൽ 89 വരെ ഒരു കോളേജിൽ പഠിക്കുന്നു. 84 കണ്ടതിന് ശേഷം 86 കണ്ടതിന് ശേഷം കാണുന്നില്ല. ഒരു 40 വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷം ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ കാണുമ്പോൾ 2 പേർക്കും പരസ്പരം അറിയില്ലായിരുന്നു. ഇവിടെ വന്ന് സംസാരിച്ചപ്പോഴാണ് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത് ഞങ്ങൾ 2 പേരും ഒരു ക്ലാസ് പഠിച്ചവരാണ്. ഇറ്റ് വാസ് റിയലി സർപ്രൈസിങ്. ഒരേ കോളേജിൽ പഠിച്ച 2 പേര് 2 സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് 2 സ്ഥലങ്ങളിലെത്തുകയും വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷം സന്തോഷത്തോടുകൂടി കാണാനും കഴിഞ്ഞതിലൊരു സന്തോഷം എനിക്ക് അടക്കാൻ കഴിയാത്തതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാനത് ആ ഫീലിംഗ് കൂടി വന്നോട്ടെ എന്ന് വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിച്ചത്. ഇവിടെ വരുന്നത് വരെ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ക്ലൂ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. പറഞ്ഞ് വന്നപ്പോൾ ക്ലാസ്സിലെ ചില കുട്ടികളുടെ പേരൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോഴും ക്ലാസ് റൂമിൻ്റെ കഥയൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോഴാണ് ഇത് ഞങ്ങൾ ഒന്നിച്ചാണ്. ദിസ് റിയലി സർപ്രൈസിങ് ആൻഡ് ഐ എം വെരി എന്താ പറയേണ്ടതെന്ന് അറിയില്ല. അത്രയധികം ഞാൻ സന്തോഷവാനാണ്. പക്ഷേ ശശികുമാർ സാറിനെ നമ്മൾ സ്കൂളിലേക്ക് വിളിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ 2 വർഷമായിട്ട് ശ്രമിക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഈ വർഷം തന്നെ ഇതിന് മുന്നേ തന്നെ ഒരു തവണ വിളിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോഴാണ് പക്ഷെ നമുക്കതിന് ഒരു സന്ദർഭം ഉണ്ടായത്. അത് ഏറ്റവും അർത്ഥവത്തായ രീതിയിൽ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞു എന്നുള്ളത് വളരെ സന്തോഷമാണ്. അതിലേറ്റവും പ്രധാനം നമ്മളെ കൂടെ ജീവിക്കുന്ന പല മനുഷ്യരെയും നമുക്കിപ്പോഴും തിരിച്ചറിയാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ല. ഒരു ഇന്ത്യൻ ജനതയുടെ ഒരു 10% നമ്മൾ കാണുകയും അവർ മനുഷ്യരാണോ, അവരാരാണ്, എന്താണ്, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ജീവിക്കുന്നതെന്ന് പോലും നമുക്കറിയാതിരിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എന്താണ് കാണുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ മുന്നിൽ എന്നുള്ളത് വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട. നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ കഴിയുന്നില്ല. ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിസ്റ്റുകൾ കാണുന്നത് അങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കണം എന്നാണ്. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ വളരെ സാധാരണമായി കാണുന്നതിനകത്ത് വിശേഷമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ടാവുന്നത്. അവരെവരുടെ ലൈഫുമായിട്ടാണ് കണ്ടംപററിയിലെ എവരുടെ ലൈഫുമായിട്ടാണ് ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിസ്റ്റുകൾ പൊതുവേ ഇടപെടുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ സാധാരണ കാണുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളിലും വിശേഷമായിട്ടുള്ള എന്തുണ്ട് എന്നറിയാണ്. അങ്ങനെ സാധാരണ നമ്മൾ നടന്നു പോകുമ്പോഴും ഇതുപോലുള്ള പത്രവായനയിലും ടി വിയിലൊക്കെ കാണുന്ന സമയത്ത് സാധാരണ കാണുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ വിശേഷമായിട്ടുള്ള അവസ്ഥകളുണ്ട് എന്ന് കണ്ടെത്താൻ കഴിഞ്ഞു എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഡോക്ടർ ശശികുമാറിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രത്യേകത ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. വേറെ അദ്ദേഹം ഈസ് നോട്ട് മിയർലി എൻ അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേറ്റർ. അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേറ്റീവ് എംപ്ലോയ്മെൻ്റ് ആണ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെങ്കിലും ഈസ് ആക്ച്വലി എൻ അക്കാഡമീഷ്യൻ ഇൻ ട്രൂ സെൻസ്. ഹി ഹാസ് പബ്ലിഷ്ഡ് very important books and several articles. I was reading one of his articles on anthropology, Mahatma Gandhi and anthropology. And you see, Nehru, അദ്ദേഹം പറയുന്നത് നെഹ്റുവിനെ ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിക്കൽ ഒരു ബെൻഡ് ഓഫ് മൈൻഡും തിങ്കിങ്ങും ഉണ്ടായതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയുമ്പോഴും ഹാർഡ്ലി എനിബഡി ഡിസ്കസ് ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിക്കൽ ബെൻഡ് ഓഫ് മൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ഗാന്ധി. അംബേദ്കറെ കുറിച്ചിട്ടും അങ്ങനെ ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജി പഠിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ആളാണ് അംബേദ്കറെ കുറിച്ചിട്ടും അങ്ങനെ പഠനമുണ്ട്. അംബേദ്കറുടെ ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിക്കൽ പഠനത്തിനെ കുറിച്ചൊരു മലയാളി എഴുതിയിട്ടുമുണ്ട്. ജയശീലൻ രാജ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു കക്ഷി. അദ്ദേഹം ഇപ്പോൾ കിങ്സ് കോളേജ് ലണ്ടനിൽ അധ്യാപകനാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിയും അംബേദ്കറും തമ്മിലുള്ള ബന്ധത്തിനെ കുറിച്ചിട്ട് എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഗാന്ധിജിയും ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിയെ കുറിച്ചിട്ടുമൊക്കെ പഠിക്കുകയും അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് ഗവേഷണം നടത്തുകയും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. What I am trying to say is that this is really unusual. An administrator normally remain as an administrator by signing certain documents and preparing some reports and providing some suggestions to the government to make policies and implement certain policies. Sometimes there will be evaluation studies as well, but not an academic studies. നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ 3 പഠനങ്ങളും ഇപ്പോൾ പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് നാട് കടത്തപ്പെട്ട 1901 മലബാർ റെബല്ലിയൻ്റെ സമയത്ത് ഇവിടെ നിന്നും നാട് കടത്തപ്പെട്ട മലബാറിൽ നിന്ന് നാട് കടത്തപ്പെട്ട മുസ്ലിങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള പഠനവും ഒരു അക്കാഡമിക് പഠനമായിട്ട് നിൽക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് സ്കൂൾ ഓഫ് സോഷ്യൽ സയൻസ് പോലുള്ള സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ നമുക്ക് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രസംഗങ്ങൾ വളരെ താല്പര്യത്തോടുകൂടി കേൾക്കാൻ കഴിയുകയും നമുക്കതിനോട് സംവദിക്കാനും ഒക്കെ കഴിയുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ക്ഷണം സ്വീകരിച്ച് അയ്യങ്കാളി ചെയറിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി ഇവിടെ എത്താനും നമ്മളോട് സംവദിക്കാനും സമയം കണ്ടെത്തിയ എൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്ത്, ഞാൻ ധൈര്യത്തോടെ അങ്ങനെ പറയുന്നു, എൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്തും സഹപാഠിയും അതിലെല്ലാം ഉപരിയായിട്ട് ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജിക്കൽ സർവേ ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യയുടെ ജോയിൻറ്റ് ഡയറക്ടറുമായ ഡോക്ടർ ശശികുമാറിനോടുള്ള നന്ദി ഞാൻ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും വേണ്ടി രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുകയാണ്. വീണ്ടും ഞങ്ങൾ വിളിക്കും. സ്കൂൾ ഓഫ് സോഷ്യൽ സയൻസിൽ ഒരു ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജി കോഴ്സ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജി ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റായിട്ട് നമുക്കില്ല, ആന്ത്രപ്പോളജി കോഴ്സ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ കോഴ്സുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കൂടുതൽ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയെടുക്കാൻ കഴിയും എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നത്. അതിനുള്ള അവസരങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാകട്ടെ എന്ന് ഒന്നുകൂടി സൂചിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി.